Hey everybody, it's Melissa, and I love when the videos that I posted about a year ago resurface and people are constantly asking me questions about them. So right now I'm going to be giving you my updated opinion on a very popular fragrance that I used to talk about all the time, and it's Nuit by YSL. Now, this is the big question I get. Is it still relevant to get this in 2023? And I'm sure when people see my videos in 2024, they're going to be asking the same thing. Because if I'm not mistaken, this fragrance came out around 2008, 2009. So it's been around for over a decade or so. Now, to me, this is absolutely still a relevant fragrance. And as I've said so many times before, it's the perfect, sexy scent. All right. I know that people look for versatility. People are always looking for their fresh and cleans, the fragrances that they can wear when they're going clubbing or when it's nighttime. But for everyone looking for that sexy scent and you want it on the masculine side, Nuit is just such a no-brainer fragrance. Now, if you care about the note breakdown, there's cardamom in this fragrance, and to me, that's what makes this so attractive and something that's just super addicting. There's also some vetiver, I believe caraway, there's lavender as well, and I think cedar. But to be completely honest, to me, this is very much more of a cardamom scent. And then the older that I'm getting, the more experienced I'm getting with fragrances, I am starting to pick up on the lavender. Before, it wasn't as noticeable to me, but now the more I smell this, I'm like, oh yeah, no wonder. And here's the thing, no wonder I thought this was also somewhat of a fresh scent or a clean scent. And it's because of that lavender, but for some reason, it just never really clicked to me until, I started wearing this months and like a year down the road. All right, so Nuit absolute banger. Even though it was made and it was brought about like 10-12 years ago, I still find this very relevant. It's still something that if you were to wear it on a date, no one's gonna think, oh my god, you smell like 2009. Like, it's not, people aren't really as into fragrances where they think like that, unless it's a scent like Fierce by Abercrombie & Fitch. That thing was so popular that there is so much nostalgia that is just associated with that fragrance. So if someone in their late 20s or like 30s were to smell that fragrance today, it would remind them of shopping in the dark at Abercrombie & Fitch and having a migraine because holy crap, there's just so much of this scent everywhere, right? But with Nuit it is a popular fragrance, but I don't think that, like, to me at least, from what I remember, but I was young, a lot younger. I didn't have an association with this scent. I mean, I was still how old around that time? Like, barely even a teenager. So, I mean, I wasn't even going out to these places. Now, you people that are older than me, maybe you had that sort of, this was an iconic smell that you remember always smelling at maybe some lounges. But for me, I just think that if I were to smell this on somebody in like today or tomorrow, I would think that person smells good. I wouldn't think, oh, that person smells outdated. And to be honest, it's very rare when I find that a fragrance smells outdated. The only type of DNA that checks that box for me are like the really heavy green fragrances, the strong vetiver scents. Those remind me of grandfather fragrances the same way that powdery scents remind me of grandmother fragrances. But again, they're not like outdated, but they're just mature for my liking, so I would never tell somebody, oh, you shouldn't get that, it's outdated. I think that Nuit is still so perfect. And when you do go smell this fragrance, I feel like a lot of you would just have that same sentiment, especially if you don't have a fragrance collection. You're maybe looking for your 1-2 punch and you smell this. Honestly, you might like it, you might not really, and you might not really care for it, but for some reason, the feminine nose loves this scent. I have yet to meet a woman, a girl, and probably the youngest that has given me her opinion on this fragrance was maybe like 19 at the time. So I'm not gonna speak for high school girls. That's not what this page is for, about like, what teen girls would like. But I feel like if you're in college, you're in your 20s, this is gonna be amazing. Even if you were to wear it as a teen, in high school it could smell good, but it's a bit more like grown than that. I think if you're looking for something teenagery, then go for Fierce, go for something from Abercrombie & Fitch, go for like a Mont Blanc fragrance. But this one here is just it's so sexy, seriously. And I do find this more aromatic than people give it credit for, all right? Whenever I talk about this fragrance, there's always some sort of debate in the comment section whenever I say that it works well in the daytime, because people would tell me, oh, hell no, that's a nighttime fragrance. Why are you leading these people wrong? Look, people are going to do whatever they want to do, right? I am not forcing them to wear the fragrance in the daytime, but I myself have tried that. I've worn this with a white t-shirt on a day that was like 75 degrees, and it brought out a different type of like, it's almost as if like some of the layers got peeled back with the scent. Because yes, you wear it at nighttime. Oh, it's sexy. Yes, it's something you can't stop wanting to put your nose to. But when I wore this in the daytime, the performance was better. I'm going to say that right now. And, you know, because of the heat, maybe it was helping with the longevity of the scent. It was projecting better as well. And it had a little bit more of that. I think the lavender is what was showing out, because it just smelled so good. It didn't smell that sweet. It smelled more clean, you know? And I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. So that's just something that I like doing. I'll take a fragrance that people wouldn't really categorize as maybe a nighttime scent or a daytime scent and wear those fragrances in different situations just to see if I'll get a little bit of different performance. The only hard no's that I would give are wearing like the really sweet scents in the daytime. I already know how those play out, so it's not just my cup of tea. But Le Nuit de l'Homme is fantastic. The only downside to the fragrance really is the fact that the performance is not the best. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you to go hunt down the vintage bottles and you need to get vintage. Just honestly buy the bigger bottle of it and overspray it, all right? I know when people hear anything over 5 sprays, they're like, what? That's way too much. When it comes to this scent right here, trust me, it's not way too much, especially if you want it to last on you all night. There was a night that I sprayed 17 sprays of this when I stepped out, and it was getting compliments the whole entire night. It wasn't choking me out. It wasn't choking other people out. It was just a really enjoyable scent. And the only way to get it to perform like that is if you do overspray it. And thankfully, it's not a headache-inducing scent like Dolce & Gabbana, the one EDP, where overspraying it can cause a little bit of a headache, even though it doesn't perform that well. You know what I mean? So Le Nuit de l'Homme, just spray more of it. If you want to hunt down a vintage bottle, you can, but I really don't think that it's necessary. But here's the thing, I haven't smelled the vintage versions of Le Nuit de l'Homme, all right? People talk reformulations all the time. I'm not too hell-bent on that, where it's like, oh, I need to make sure I get the non-reformulated. You know what I mean? If that's you, totally fine, if you want to have that in your collection. But if I can wear the fragrance and if to me it smells good, that's what matters. I'm not really worried about, okay, this one was made in, oh wait, the batch number, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not really looking into that as seriously. So this scent has smelled the same from when all the times that I've been in the Sephora and been able to check it out. Macy's, haven't really noticed much of a difference with it, at least within the past couple years. And it's honestly, people talk about the performance being really lackluster. We're talking less than an hour with this scent, but I don't know if it's the way that it sticks to my skin chemistry that it's still noticeable on myself past 5 hours. And that is just not a strong likelihood with a lot of people. So don't assume, okay, Le Nuit de l'Homme will perform past 5 hours. If it does on you, then congrats, welcome to the club. You're like myself, where this will latch longer than the normal person. But I would say safe bet, maybe like 3-ish something hours, depending also on how much you spray. Now, in terms of the price point of this fragrance, as always, just don't buy it for full retail price. I've seen it at, I think, was it Ulta? It was Ulta or something, and it was like $120 for the 3.4 ounce, which is the one I have in my hands, the 100 ml. But I actually bought this fragrance for, I think, $70 for the full size bottle, which was like a steal. So you can always go smell these fragrances in person, see how they dry down on your skin, and then buy them elsewhere later on. Or if you just want to buy it on retail, you know, you can do that too, whatever floats your boat. But this scent right here, if I had to rate it 1 to 10, for the type of profile it is, the sexy date night sort of fragrance, I am going to give it like a solid 8.5. really, really good scent. And it's an essential fragrance. You know, it is something that isn't just going to collect dust on your shelf. The usability rate here is going to be high for you, because once you smell it, you're like, oh, dang, maybe I want to start rocking this as a signature scent. And in fact, that's actually what I did. This was my very first signature scent that I picked out, and I was known for smelling like this, and everybody loved it. And I know that this is traditionally a more masculine fragrance, but there's just something about the way that this smells on my skin that it was never thought of as a masculine scent when I would wear it around people. And that's giving you both opinions from women and men. They weren't like, oh my gosh, you smell like a guy. Like when I tested Bleu de Chanel, I got that reaction from one person, because I'm like, all right, let's test the performance. And I was like, yeah, I could see that. This is a typical masculine blue fragrance, right? But with Le Nuit de l'Homme, the kind of questions I would get were the kind of compliments are, oh my God, that smells so good. What are you wearing? I really love that. And just the deep sniffs to the neck. All right. So for all you ladies watching here, if you do want to try a more masculine fragrance, you can give this one a shot. It can be a scent that if you buy it, maybe you and your partner can share it, because you guys can both wear it. But yeah, this one definitely goes more, generally speaking, on the masculine side for sure. So just all in all, still relevant, still something that I'm going to highly recommend to people. And I still talk about this fragrance to a lot of people that are in my DMs on Instagram, people in my comment section, and people that know me in real life. Like the YSL L'Homme line, the Le Nuit, all of that, really, really good for just your everyday sort of person. So please don't listen to anybody telling you that this is outdated, or you should never wear this, or the time has come to pass for it. I feel like the type of people making those type of comments and saying that, they're the people that like to ride trends. You know what I mean? So they'll only like what's trending now. But in, I don't know, in 5 years, if this becomes popular again, or if it becomes a trend to where, you know, these designer fragrances, then they'll be on the train for that. You know what I mean? So just like, if you like it, wear it. And even though it's that date night scent, if you want to rock it as a signature scent the same way I did, go for it, because there's nothing wrong with smelling sexy all the time, especially if it works, you know. But if you live somewhere where it's really, really hot, then I wouldn't. But if you live somewhere like me that, I mean, 70 degrees, like you're cruising at 70 degrees, like 70 to 75, like it's really like a no-brainer, a scent like this to have in your collection. All right. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts on Le Nuit de l'Homme by YSL in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.